Hello, movie lovers. Welcome to my channel. Today is all about fresh cinema experiences, and I can't wait to share my thoughts on the newest film making its mark. Sit back, relax, and let's dive into the recap of this exciting cinematic adventure. A man is infected with an unknown virus. He stumbles back to his village as if he hadn't eaten in 10 years. He gobbled up the food prepared by his wife. His eyes were bloodshot, and he was staring death in the face at his wife's snack. At the end of the night, the man had a mutation. His veins swell up and his whole body twists. Next to him was his child. His wife, who didn't know what was going on, came into the room. She found the man biting at something. The zombie rushed out of the room and attacked the villagers. And this unknown virus came from a few days ago. A group of soldiers hijacked an ocean-going merchant ship. Their aim was the foreign guns on board. But as one of the soldiers was carrying the cargo, suddenly, a man went crazy and jumped on him. The others rushed to separate the two men. They took the soldier and left the place. But this soldier has been infected with the virus, so the scene at the beginning happened. And the weapons they looted were seized by Lord Kaneko-kun of the Imperial Court. Not only were all the weapons confiscated, it was also reported to the king in charge of usurping the throne. The king listened to his slanderous words. He tortured the group to death, but no matter how hard they were tortured, they refused to reveal the mastermind. But at that moment, the mastermind came forward. He was the king's eldest son, the prince of the dynasty. His purpose was not to conspire against the king. He just wants to use the weapons to eradicate these traitors. But how could the suspicious king believe his words? Eventually, the crown prince was placed on the charge of usurping the throne in order not to implicate his men and their families. He chose to commit suicide by disembowelment. Before he died, he wrote a suicide note to his brother during the Jing dynasty. He asked him to go back to Joseon and take his sister-in-law from the palace. However, Li Jing, who has seen the world, soon found out that something was not normal. So many people came to meet them, but they didn't bring an extra horse. Did they want to carry themselves back on their backs? Moreover, these people were full of murderous aura. They didn't look like the Praetorian Guard at all. After saying that, he pulled out the sword at his waist, seeing that they are recognized. The killer is not pretending. Immediately launched a siege on the two men. But when the two sides were in the middle of a fight, a zombie suddenly rushed out and pounced on one of the killers, one bite on his neck. Immediately after that, there was an ominous hissing sound all around. Countless zombies swarmed from the roof of the house. The good villages were all turned into zombies. They were bloodthirsty and biting at every sight. A zombie jumped on Li Jing. He blocked it with his sword. Li Jing also realized that these villages had lost their humanity. He cut off the head of the zombie with one slash. The killers were pounced on one after another. Li Jing's entourage weaved through the zombies, dodging one zombie after another. But there were so many of them that they surrounded the two in an instant. Li Jing swung his sword, but an arrow suddenly flew out. A woman appeared on the roof of the house. She shoots an arrow that makes a loud noise and attracts the zombies' attention. Then several more men appeared. They moved clean namely and seemed to understand the weaknesses of the zombies and quickly wiped out all the zombies on the other side. Kaneko-kun is planning something. He fed a zombie in the cellar. Then the king's consort was led here. He opened the cellar and led up the zombie. Soon the consort was pounced on by the zombie. The next morning, many concubines were dining with the king. They did not know that the consort infected with the zombie virus was among them. The king is still enjoying his meal, but the consort had already started to mutate. The blood vessels extended to her neck, her eyes turned white, and her body twitched involuntarily. The zombie consort pounced on the king and bit him on the arm because Kaneko-kun blocked news of the village's infection. Everyone thought that the consort was an assassin sent by the rebels, so they didn't know that the king was infected. Li Jing, on the other hand, was preparing to return to the palace. The villages wanted him to ask the court to send troops to destroy the zombies. Li Jing also agreed to do so. To protect Li Jing's safety, Park Jongshire and the others went with him. But the area has been sealed off as a plague area. All villages were forbidden to leave the village. Li Jing can only with his entourage. At the palace, Li Jing met his father, whom he had not seen for a long time. The first thing he did was to report to him that the village was infected with the zombie virus. He did not expect that no one in the entire court knew. They were all kept in the dark by Kaneko Koen. Lee Jing asked his father to send troops and let him lead the army to destroy the zombies. The king also agreed to do so. He prepared to leave with his sister-in-law, but Kaneko Koen stopped him. He says that the king has withdrawn his military order and warned Lee Jing, "It's better to go back to Jing dynasty now. Otherwise, the consequences will be very serious." The whole court is King Kankeo Kuhin's inner circle. Lee Jing did not dare to do anything rashly. At that moment, the ambassador of the Jing dynasty came to the palace. All the officials of the court knelt to greet them to entertain the ambassadors. The king had prepared a lively party, unbeknownst to them. The zombies have spread to all corners of the palace. The king is also mutating. When he staggered onto the dance floor, the crowd thought he was going to dance, but the court lady who was dancing noticed that something was wrong. By the time she reacted, it was too late. Everyone was frozen in place. Only Kaneko Kuhin did not change his face because he had planned all this. Soldiers rushed forward to check, but they didn't dare to stop them because of the king's status. Lee Jing then arrives and sees the grim-faced father. He instantly understood that he was infected with the zombie virus. However, the next moment, the king was pierced by Kaneko Kuhin's sword. By now, a large number of zombies had arrived. Kaneko Kuhin had already prepared a retreat. He successfully retreated under cover of his man. He only had to wait for the palace to fall and send his troops to clear up the zombies at dawn. Lee Jing had no time to grieve. He rushed into the crowd of zombies, found his sister-in-law hiding under the table, and led her to escape from the zombie siege. Lee Jing's attendant brought 2 horses. Then they got on their horses and fled the scene. Lee Jing escaped and found the leader of the Praetorian Guard. He told him to gather all the Praetorians, stop the zombies at all costs. Otherwise, the whole palace is finished. Lee Jing rose to the dungeon to free the imprisoned villages. The Forbidden Army prepares multiple defenses against the attack of the zombies. But there were so many zombies that the fortifications were quickly breached. A large number of zombies poured into the palace. Lee Jing and Park Jong-ir it to stop the zombies. The others took the opportunity to get out. In the end, they all escaped unscathed. The leader of the Forbidden Army led the soldiers to fight until dawn. They suffered a lot of casualties. A zombie also bit the leader on the arm. Luckily, the zombies were afraid of sunlight. They retreated in droves and hid in the shadows, and Kaneko Koen was waiting for this moment. What they need to do now is to destroy all the zombies while it's daylight and start a new dynasty. The ministers had no choice but to submit under his pressure. But while Kaneko Kuhin was making his speech, a zombie suddenly rushed out and jumped on him. But he quickly took care of it. When he asked if anyone else was infected, the others looked at King K. O. Kuhin's palm. It turned out that zombie had just bitten him. The ministers immediately changed their faces and were ready to kill him. But Kaneko Queen is at least a battle-hardened military general. A few civil officials are no match for him. All of them were killed by him. Soon it became dark. All the zombies came out. The whole palace became a place for the zombies again. Everyone immediately entered the hall to destroy the zombies. They were going to attract all the zombies to this place. Then they used fire to burn them all to death. When the zombies filled the hall, Park Jong-ir held out until the end before lighting the fuse. But it didn't work out as expected. The fuse was stomped out by a foot. It turned out to be the half-human, half-core Kaneko Koen. Park Jong-ir was not able to complete the mission and was upset. Kaneko Koen stepped towards him and stomped out the last hope. Then Park Jong-ir was brutally killed. The fire was slow to ignite. Lee Jing realizes that something is wrong and there should be an accident. But there was only one chance, so Lee Jing had to take a chance. He mounted his horse and rushed to the hall, wielding the sword in his hand, with agile positioning and sharp knife skills. Pulling back and forth among the zombies, Lee Jing walks through a horde of walkers. Finally, he arrived inside the hall. He saw Park Jong-ir, who was already dead, and Kaneko Koen was sitting on the dragon chair, but he didn't stop Lee Jing right away. Lee Jing continued to bang on the drum. Hearing the drums, the zombies swarmed into the hall again. He was beating the drum and killing the zombies at the same time. But just as he was about to light the fire, Kaneko Koen strikes again with the zombie virus. Kaneko Koen's strength has increased. Li Jing is no match for him. Harkdiaki outside the palace realizes that Li Jing is in danger and shoots an arrow with fire at the main hall. The arrow was stuck in the pillar of the hall. Li Jing leaped up to the beam, took off the rocket, and threw it down. The fire was instantly ignited. The smell of roasting meat filled the air. Li Jing took the opportunity to go to the roof, but to his surprise, Koneko Koen also caught up with him. The two continued to fight. The mortal Li Jing was defeated. He made it again. Kane Koen's slashes were all powerful. Just as Kane Koen was about to kill him, Li Jing dodged the fatal blow and followed the trend back to the roof. He stabbed Ko Quinn in the chest. Like all zombies, his heart and head are the most important points, but Kane Quinn wanted to die with Li Jing. Li Jing took the opportunity to break free. Then he grabbed a 40mm knife and stabbed him. The tiles broke. Both of them fell together. However, Li Jing grabbed the beam and climbed up again. Meanwhile, supporting soldiers arrived. Armed with foreign guns, they quickly wiped out the zombies. Soldiers and civilians are cheering for the birth of a new king. And the movie ends here. Thanks for watching our video. If you enjoyed this film recap and want more, subscribe now, like, and share captivating stories with your friends. Tell me which movie you'd like me to summarize next. See you soon!